A lot of our readers were also going to AMERICAblog in addition to other issues. I'm very concerned about whether either bill is going to pass this year, domestic total bill or ENDA. The White House doesn't seem to be getting a lot of support for either for this year.
Well, the ENDA, since I've been in Congress, to me, the ENDA Act is something that why should we even have it? It's so obvious that it should be the law of the land. I want to again put the shortest distance between getting it out of committee and taking it to the floor, because it's really important to pass the legislation.
Do you see it happening this year?
Well, that would be my hope. Okay. And then
don't ask, don't tell. There's a lot of concern about waiting until next year, just because we never know what's going to happen with the numbers, midterm elections in the House or Senate.
Well, don't ask, don't tell. We're just waiting, for the report back on that?
Which may be December or January. DOD's
they should move it quicker. They should move it quicker because it's a wrong policy. It's a discriminatory policy. And
do you think there's anything the House can do to try to get DOD to move it quicker? There's just a lot of concern about what happens after November, even if we retain both houses, God forbid, or not God forbid, but we hope. Yeah. But, we lose a few members in midterms and people freak out.
Yeah, no, I don't. Again, we're so focused on the health bill
no, of
right
course,
now.
Of course.
But both of those are priorities. And we have another one, which is domestic partners for federal employees. That legislation as well. But what we did was established a priority that ENDA was first. Now, don't ask, don't tell. We're excited because we had the hearing. The Senate has said what they have said about it. And if that's something that we can do sooner, then we'd like to do that. But these are priorities for us because they're both about ending discrimination, whether it's in the workforce or in the military.
They're both about jobs, too, actually.
They are. And they're about, the success of our nation. Why should we not have the benefit of everyone in our community, whether it's for jobs or for and it's discriminatory. I mean, first and foremost, they're discriminatory. So, again, I don't. A lot of it depends on Senate timetable, and a lot of it depends on demanding the 60 votes. But from our standpoint, we are, we had our hearing. We were very pleased with the testimony that now mostly all of the chairmen of the Joint Chiefs have come out in favor of don't ask, don't tell, being repealed. And what we're urging is that this report come back as soon as possible. What is it that they have to figure out?
They've studied. It took them a year to come up with the idea for the report. 8 months, in fact. They said last May that they were already working on implementation.
Well, I think
they're playing games. Is the concern?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if the administration. They had the chairman of the Joint Chiefs come and testify in a manner that he did, which I think was very important. It's one thing for former chairs of the Joint Chiefs. It's another thing for the current chair of the Joint Chiefs. But we're ready. I mean, the validation, and if people need that, is there for this policy to change, and good riddance to it.
I worked on it the first time in '93. It just never goes away.
Well, it was wrong then, and it's wrong now. And I know that the Clinton administration is making a good faith effort, but at least we would think that in the meantime they would not dismiss anyone on the basis of their sexual orientation.
So you would support a moratorium in the interim?
Oh, of course, absolutely that, and then also no credibility to any third party.
Right. Well, there's been a whole other issue.
Hearsay. What I call the hearsay.
Third party outings, so to speak.
Third party outings. Yeah. So there's things we can do in the meantime, but certainly have a moratorium on dismiss. What's the word? Not dismiss.
Discharges.
Discharges.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll see if you guys can do something this year. It's been hard. I know you guys got to go, but it's been really hard with our voters in our community to explain to people that none of the top three. DOMA, forget it, isn't even on the agenda at this point. It's just a lot of concern about nothing happening in terms of the top three issues.
And I don't ask, don't tell, and the Senate. I mean the.
I know the Senate's its own
federal employees.
As you know,
I meant to say the federal
employees bill, sure. No, and that's great, but it's not quite DOMA anymore.
Yeah,
no, and hate crimes is good too, but it's just
with transgender.
Oh no, I know,
And that was a heavy lift for some of our members. It shouldn't be. Right. They probably need the non-discrimination more than anybody. You know, in the hate crimes issue, the transgenders. So we were really pleased that we were able to get